And this is Houston Newsmakers Extra with Congressman Kevin Brady. We've been talking about the president and the challenges by Congressman Al Green about wanting to impeach him. You were talking on our Newsmakers program about, you thought that a lot of people have been out to get him. At least that's been the atmosphere. The president has an adversarial relationship with the press, which probably is not the best conditions in which to have a nice open dialogue about the issues of our country. Would you agree with that?
You know, I do, although I have to say that I think there's a mutual feeling here in a sense, and I don't say this, I never use the phrase all media just because, like all politicians, it doesn't fit. And so I think there have been some adversarial relationships that just continue to get worse. The truth of the matter is the president, commander-in-chief, leader of the free world, has a stage and has the ability to frame issues and defend those policies and lead in a major way. And I think to do that, any president has to stay focused on those issues, where he wants to go, and convince the American public to do that. And it's tougher with that kind of adversarial relationship to have that message heard by people back home here in Houston just working hard every day.
Well, yeah, and you're right. I mean, there are a lot of people whose role is, and I'm responsible for our interns at the station, I tell them the media's responsibility is to be objective and fair. When the media calls out the president for a lie or an untruth or real strong exaggeration that he may tell, that's not exactly a negative blight on us. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I do think where the president is valid in the sense that on issues when we really try to lay out what is in a bill and a media source just refuses to even acknowledge what the actual work and language in that bill does for their own interpretation, there is a frustration there, and I share that. I do on healthcare and tax reform. It can be really tough to get just that fair, objective explanation of what we're trying to do.
Do you ever feel like anybody is taking a shot at you? Do you feel like anything that's printed or said about you, do you take it personally?
No, you can't.
Okay,
look, I disagree with things, obviously, in characterizations, but no, you can't.
Well, you get the sense that this president may take things personally?
You know, this is an unconventional president from New York, and if you punch him, he'll punch back twice as hard in his view. My advice always to anyone in such an amazing leadership position is this country is not an angry country. We are not at heart a hateful country. We're in fact very positive. Americans just are. We're hopeful about what can be done for the future. And I always think every leader in your position or mine has to remember that's how we lead best as a nation. It's how we lead best here at home.
This whole pride, you know, I look at this presidency with the image of George H.W. Bush in the background. And no matter what you thought about his policies, you always respected him because of the great respect he had for the office of the President of the United States. Agreed?
Well, I agree. And can I just tell you, my personal work with President Trump has been very positive. So when I've been in the White House, whether on healthcare, trade, infrastructure, or tax reform, he asks great questions. He listens. He's very encouraging. Kevin, we can do this together. Let's continue the work. And his team has represented that. So my personal experience with him in that work has, I couldn't ask for more.
Biggest challenge right now, North Korea. How do you suggest that this is going? I mean, right now, obviously, the president is being aggressive about saying things about what we are thinking about doing. That's a real concern, is it not?
It is a huge one. North Korea is a terrorist state, and they now have the capability to deliver a missile to U.S. shores. It may take a year or so for them to be able to fit it with a nuclear weapon, but at that point, all things change for the worse. And so we can't stand by and just let them continue on that path. So there's economic sanctions, which Congress has already passed legislation to do. There's economic pressure that can be brought. There are military options, but those bear great consequences with them as well. So I don't think we can contain North Korea or address them just by ourselves. We're going to have help from around the world because the threat isn't just to us. Our allies in that region need our support as well.
You're seeing your constituents while you're home on break. What are they telling you is most important to them?
Jobs in the economy, energy is still struggling. They want the red tape off our local businesses so they can grow again. For my district, they know I'm leading on tax reform. So they're really anxious to see how are we doing? Can we get tax reform done this year? Can it be bold and permanent, and can it be simpler for us? So we hear a lot from our small businesses and from families. We've proposed a code so simple, 9 out of 10 Americans will be able to file using a postcard system. Very fair, very simple. They love this idea.
You optimistic about that?
Actually, I am. It's hard work. Tax reform is the greatest challenge of any generation for lawmakers. It is politically very difficult to do. We're on the timetable to deliver it this year, and I haven't seen anything yet that knocks us off that timetable.
You know what I think, Congressman Brady, we have to get you and get your staff to get somebody who can get some sponsors, and we can do the Kevin Brady show.
I'm in.
We need the time.
Count me in.
Congressman Brady, always good to see you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Cambro.
so much. Thank you for watching Houston Newsmakers Extra.